I ran away from home to my best friend, only to realize exactly how crazy my mom truly is. What do you mean you ran away from home? Bailey asked as I stared at her with tears falling down my face. It was either leave or be punished for something I didn't even do, I muttered harshly. Bailey raised her hands up as if to say she understood. I got that much, but what are you going to do? Are you going to tell your mom? She would just take her new boyfriend's side in the matter, I stated as a fact. She always seemed to take anyone's word over my own. However, since the death of my dad and all the new boyfriends she has gone through, she always acts like they can do no wrong. While I was the troublemaker in her life, the disobedient child, even though I had straight A's in school, helped her with the grocery shopping, made sure the bills were paid, and still, I was in the wrong. It didn't make sense to me and it hurt. This newest boyfriend had tried to act like he was my father the moment we had been introduced. Then when my mom's back was turned, he'd have his go at me. Hands where they shouldn't be. Words that only a crazy person would say. It drove me over the brink, which is how I ended up running away to Bailey's house. Bailey's parents had agreed to let me stay for a sleepover a couple days beforehand. Your mom makes me question why she even had children in the first place, Bailey states from her bed. My dad had wanted kids, I responded. She always told me that after his death that it had become ingrained. Bailey scoffs in disgust. Of course, God forbid your mom takes responsibility for anything other than searching out for a new boyfriend. I smiled tiredly at Bailey's words. Bailey's parents suddenly yelled to the two of us, "Dinner, girls." I wipe my face as Bailey gives me a hug. "I've got you, Chica," she murmurs, and this is why Bailey is my best friend. At the dinner table, I watch as Bailey's parents seem to be looking at the two of us. The expression told me that they knew something. I could feel my blood go ice cold as soon as we had finished dinner. Bailey's mom looked directly at me. "We had overheard the conversation between you girls." I gasped and violently flinched. Bailey immediately grabs my hand in comfort. "We called Uncle Bert and he's going to be taking all of our statements about your mom." Tears started to flow. "I don't want to hurt my mom," I whisper in a broken way. "Uncle Bert knows how much you love your mom, but we need you to be safe," Bailey's dad stated as he gave my shoulder a squeeze in support. "We want you safe, kiddo." Uncle Bert had arrived and started with taking everyone's statement besides my own. When it was finally my turn, I ran my fingers through his K9 partner King. "Can you tell me about school?" he asked softly. "I have straight A's and it's actually very easy." He gives me a grin at that statement and I could feel myself glowing at it. "I bet your mom is proud. She believes I'm cheating," I mutter sadly. "Why do you think that is?" Bert asked professionally. "Because she wants to." I actually didn't know what to say. "She listens to her boyfriends?" It comes out more as a question. Bert just nods. "Does any of her past or present boyfriends make you uncomfortable?" "Steve does," I whisper. "Her current boyfriend. Why is that?" I shake my head at Bert. Bert just looks at me calmly. "He, does things?" I say in my softest voice as I turn my head away from Bert. I miss Bert clenching his pen tightly and taking a controlled breath. He calls me names and says things he wants to do to me. A tear runs down my face as I turn to Bert. "You believe me, don't you?" Bert looks at me for a long moment. "I believe. Please excuse me." As soon as Bert left the room, Bailey was by my side, hugging me on the couch. Hours pass before Bert walks into the living room along with Bailey's parents. All of them look sick. What happened?" The adults looked at us nervously for a moment before Bert spoke. "We went to detain this boyfriend, Steve. When we arrived at your house, the lights were on, but no one answered. So we got a search warrant and entered." I swallow and clench at Bailey's hands, needing the support. There was a note that said, "We love each other, and now we can never be apart." We continued searching. "What did you find?" Bert bends down to me and takes my hand. "We found your mom and Steve. Steve had been shot twice in the chest, and your mom had one to the head." Bailey froze, gaping at the turn of events. I look at Bert. "Mom shot Steve and unalived herself? That's what it looks like," Bert states softly. "Good riddance," I state with a glare. "At least she can have a boyfriend to torture for all of eternity instead of me."